Hey beautiful people, welcome to my channel, The Thought Philosopher, where we talk peace of mind, mental health, and being your best self. Hi my beautiful people, and welcome to another episode with me, Masi Anyango, also known as The Thought Philosopher. And today we'll be talking about ignorance is bliss. Thank you for joining me on yet another episode. And as always, if you like something, if you learn something, if I just entertain you, kindly like, share, subscribe, comment. I'd love to hear back from you and it would be much appreciated. As always, let's get right into it. So ignorance is bliss. I used to think that's where the quote ends. But after a little research, I discovered that there is more to the quote. So the quote was actually said by Thomas Gray. It's in a poem of his. And the full quote says, "Where ignorance is bliss, it is folly to be wise." So in summary, he is just saying that where you are happy not knowing, it is stupid to try and familiarize yourself or become in the know. So personally, I took this quote to mean that the days when I didn't know better, I was happier. When I was a child, when I was younger, or just when I had not known what I know now, I lived in the belief that I was happier. But in my small research for this quote, I actually realized there are two parts to the quote. It can work in your benefit and also it can work against you. So we'll just talk about the areas where the quote works for us and also cover the areas where the quote does not work in our benefit. So that means the areas where knowing and being aware and familiarizing ourselves will work in our favor, and also areas where remaining ignorant, remaining in the unknown will work in our favor. So once again, thank you for joining me on this episode, and let's begin. So let's start with the situations where being ignorant is bliss, where actually not knowing makes you happier or makes you happy. Number one would be other people's business. So this, in short or in summary, just means gossip. If you can avoid it to the best of your ability. Where you don't know what other people are doing, why they're doing it, you will be happier. You will be at peace. You will have peace of mind, and you will be able to focus all your energy on your own business. So not knowing other people's business, not trying to find out more about other people's business, ignorance is bliss in this situation, because you're able to avoid drama, you're able to avoid gossiping in and of itself, you're able to avoid finding yourself in situations where you did not plan or you did not predict, or being collateral damage to other people's situations. So ignorance is bliss in other people's business. We do not need to familiarize ourselves with that. And yeah, that's basically just the first point. The second point is other people's actions and thoughts, either directly towards us or towards other people. Ignorance is bliss in this case because we do not need to know more than we already know. If someone does something that we do not understand, it's better to not know more about it. If you wish to follow up and find out why they did this to you, that's on you. But most of the times it is better to not know. It is happier to just not know and accept the situation as is, accept this person as is. They did this to you or to someone else, and leave it at that. Trying to follow up and find out why and the reasons behind it leads to more chaos and drama than was originally intended, if we just let sleeping dogs lie. So not knowing why someone acts or acted the way they did, ignorance is bliss in such a situation. The third point is what we cannot control. So for things you cannot control, for future outcomes, ignorance is bliss. Not knowing is bliss. And that is why life in itself is exciting, because we don't know what tomorrow will bring. We don't know what the seeds we have planted will grow into, and that makes life exciting and happier and more fun. If you knew every outcome of your life, if you knew how tomorrow will look like, how next year at a time like this would look like, you'll be bored, and you really wouldn't have the excitement or the motivation to keep going. So ignorance is bliss for future outcomes and for things we cannot control. That exam, that job interview, that relationship, all those things that are not in our direct control. It is better to just not know until the time when we do need to know. And the last point is death. So ignorance is bliss here because we do not know the exact time, place, dates of our death. And once again, that makes life worth living. Or actually, the other way around. If we did know that we'll die at a certain time, you would live more, or some of us would not live at all. So death here goes either way. If you knew that you're dying tomorrow, how would you spend today? Or is it better for you? Is life better that you don't know that, when you'll die? The reason I put it in this section, that situations where ignorance is bliss, the fact that we don't know when we'll die makes life exciting. At the same time, if I can use situations in movies or maybe series, the moment someone finds out that you have 3 months to live, you have 6 months to live, they go about living their life to the fullest. So with death, we'll put it on both sides. But in the case where not knowing is bliss, you're able to live a bit more full life, I can say that. Because for some of us, if we knew we're dying next week, we wouldn't do anything. We'll just, we'll chill. So that one is very subjective. For the death part, that one is very subjective. It depends on your outlook of life with regards to death. So the situations where ignorance is not bliss, your own thoughts and actions. As we always say in this channel, to thy own self be true. You cannot run from yourself, you cannot run from your thoughts and your actions. So ignorance is not bliss when it comes to your own thoughts and actions. You need to be wise, you need to be aware, you need to be conscious about your thoughts, you need to be conscious about your actions, so that you can change them accordingly or you can improve them accordingly. Your business, that is your life, your finances, your physical, mental health, your relationships, everything about your external life, that is where ignorance is not bliss. You need to be wise, conscious, aware about your own business, what is happening where and why, and how can I change or improve it. Also, what you can control in terms of your life, what you can control. There, ignorance is not bliss. You need to be wise, conscious, aware about the things you can control. If it's an exam you need to read for, you need to do that. If it's a job interview you need to prepare for, you need to do that. If you want to get into physical fitness and shape, you need to put in the effort. So basically, things you can control. Ignorance is not bliss. And once again, we have death. If you were to be told that you will die 3 months from now, 6 months from now, would that knowledge improve your current life today, or would it make it worse? Would you live more or would you live less? So I put death in both sides, just so you know that the knowing or not knowing of death is both a good thing and a bad thing, depending on, as I said, how you relate your life to death. So if you knew that you had this amount of time to live, would you change how you're currently living, or would you just continue on the same route? So ask yourself that question, and it should
maybe encourage you to change how you're living, because if the knowledge of your demise was supposed to change your actions and life in a whole, then let it do so, because we do not know when that time will come. Sorry to be a bit morbid, but death is a part of life. And that is it for today's episode. Thank you for watching. If you liked something, if you learned something, if you just love hearing the sound of my voice, kindly like, share, comment, subscribe. It will be much appreciated. See you on the next one. Bye.